Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Original Works Night here at Third Church in the auditorium. We're so glad that you are here. We have a packed program tonight with lots of different artistic expressions, from spoken word to music. And along the wall over here, obviously, we've got a lot of visual arts. Please know that tonight is very much a coffee house atmosphere. Don't feel like you've got to be stuck in your seats for every act. Feel free to get up. We've got some food and drinks at the back. A couple of things that we've got that are a little more interactive. One is right back here against the wall, you'll see the white board with lots of little envelopes in them. That is a take a blessing, leave a blessing. And if you walk up to the board, you literally open one of the flaps and you'll find in there a blessing for you. This was the blessing I received. It says, God is with you. You are so good. Be kind and never lose hope. So that was the blessing that I received. And so then there's some little cards and pens right in front of there. I went back to my table. I wrote out a blessing for somebody else. I went back and opened an envelope and put it in there. Please know that within those envelopes, there might be something in there that might not. So you might have to open a few flaps to find the blessing that you want, or you might have to open a few flaps to find an empty one to put your blessing in. That's fine. They're going to be taken and left all night long. So please participate in that. Back here in this corner, we've got a table, and it's got some covering on it. You are welcome to go doodle all you want if you like to doodle. And there are also some rocks in the basket back there, and some VersaPaint pens that you can actually draw on the rocks. So feel free to have some fun if you want to, especially kids. If you want to just play while your parents are enjoying the evening, please feel free to do that. We've got a lot going on. I'm going to ask Lauren to come on up as she gets settled. We're going to have a lot of different acts tonight, and please take the time, if you want, to get up, wander over, take a look at all the different things that are going on over here. And a couple of times tonight, I'm going to actually be interviewing a few of the visual artists, since they're not quite in the spotlight like all of our musical artists and spoken word artists are. So that's where we're going. Lauren, welcome. You're going to kick it off tonight.
Oh, yes.
Is there anything you'd like us to know? You've got a song here called In the Father's Heart. Can you tell us a little bit about the song and how it came?
It's called Into the Father's Heart, and I think a lot of part of our identity is being fathered by Father God, and no matter how good your parents are, we all need to be refathered by God. So that's just about going into his heart and really showing, me who I am and showing me who he is, and that's the center of our identity and kind of everything in him. So
wonderful. Let's welcome Lauren Ashworth.
Give me your oil of gladness for this heavy heart. Give me your peace, Lord, 'cause I don't know even where to start. Emotions so big feels like I'm stuck in a storm. Tired of running from your love, I can't take it anymore. So take me into the Father's heart. Take me in. I wanna know who I am. Show me who you are. Take me into the Father's heart. Show me what love is.
Thank you, Lauren Ashworth. Appreciate that very much. Hilary, come on up. Hilary VandeKieft is coming up to do a song for us. And Hilary is one of the people that tonight has got a couple of different mediums in which she's sharing with us. We're going to talk to her a little bit later tonight about some artwork she's got here behind the wall. But she's going to start us off with a song.
I am.
Hilary, tell me, so do you, like, if a song, is it like an inspiration that immediately comes to you, or is it more something that you work on over time when you're writing songs?
I love that you asked that. Almost always in the songs I've written, I'm given a melody first, and I have to think on that melody, and it just runs in my mind again and again and again. And then some words finally form to it, and then I have to think about that for a while. And then I can sit down and write the rest of the song.
Okay. Is this a relatively new inspiration, or is this one that you've kind of had for a while?
I've always wanted to be a songwriter,
Okay.
but it hasn't been till like the last couple of years that I've really given time to it.
Okay, wonderful. Hilary VandeKieft, everybody.
Lord, you reign on high, robed in majesty. Your strength has no beginning. Your love is everlasting. Lord, you reign on high, robed in majesty. Your strength has no beginning. Your love is everlasting, yeah. For your glory, for your honor, for your blessing, we will lift up this song to your throne room, an offering of worship to your Lord. This world you created will never be moved. The seas lift up their voice, the waters roar your praise. For your glory, for your honor, for your blessing, we will lift up this song to your throne room, an offering of worship. For your glory, for your honor, for your blessing, we will lift up this song to your throne room, an offering of worship to you, Lord. We will trust you, for you are a holy God forever. We will trust you, for you are holy God forever. We will trust you, for you are holy God forever. We will love you, for you are worthy God forever. For your glory, for your honor, for your blessing, we will lift up this song to your throne room, an offering of worship. For your glory, God, for your honor, for your blessing, we will lift up this song to your throne room, an offering of worship to you, Lord. This song to your throne room, an offering of worship to you, Lord.
Thank you, Hilary. I'm going to ask everybody to give me your attention over here. And Raul, come on over. Our first artist interview for the evening is Raul. And tell me how to say your last name, Raul.
Oh, Pimentel.
Al Pimentel. Okay, wonderful. And where are you from?
Yucatan, Mexico.
Okay. And how did you get to Pella? Why are you here?
I would always say God is the one who led me here. I was having a real bad time in Mexico, having like problems finding a work and feeling like the calling of God. And all of a sudden, a friend called me and he said, "There's a school looking for a teacher." And I say, "Wow, that's nice. But what about you? Try to do something." And I made all my paperwork and I'm here. So.
Okay. Wonderful. Welcome. We're glad that you're here. So you've got 3 photographs here. And the name is Los Marginados. Is that how you say it?
Los Marginados.
Marginados. Okay. And tell us what that means in English.
It is the people who are in the margins.
Okay.
There is no specific word like, in English for it.
All right. So these are 3 photographs that you've taken. Tell us about the people in these photographs.
Okay. These are 3 different people in different places in Mexico. So I was looking around and like walking. And I found these people, and I was thinking about how many times we as a Christians or as a people just look over them and say, "Oh, poor of that people, they have problems, they don't have house," because those people live in the street actually, and all of them, some of them have like disabilities, and you always feel like so sorry for them. And I think we don't have to do that. We have to look at them as the same. And actually, I was thinking about posting these pictures here and saying, what is gonna people think when they look at these pictures? They're gonna feel like, oh, or they're gonna really say, oh, that's nice, because it means like how our heart is feeling to others. And the desire to share these 3 pictures in specific was trying to connect with the team of the church, with this the church in exile. Since these people are trying to get out exile, and sometimes we are the ones who like push them down to still in that position, and not saying like, oh, you are in the same with me, so let's share the love and let me honor your life.
And you said that you talked to each one of these individuals. Tell us about your conversations with them and what came out of those conversations.
Yes, with the 2 women, it was like a brief conversation, like God bless you, how are you doing? And they collect money for a living. But the man, it was a specific situation. I was walking on the street, and I hear like good voice singing. And it was like, wow, that is nice. It's going to be a big artist maybe or something. When I walked to the next block, I saw him. He was there. And it was like, wow, sometimes you can connect like good like voices of things, like what you see and what you hear sometimes are not connected. But in this time was like he's singing by his heart. Actually, he does that for a living. And I talked with him. His name is Miguel, and he was saying that he is the one. He's alone. He has not family, and he have to be there just singing to have money for food or something. And it was like sharing with him about Jesus and saying you're not alone and let me pray for you. And it was a good moment. It wasn't in my state. It was another state of Mexico. So I didn't have like any contacts to say, go to this church or something. But maybe that conversation could be a seed for something in the future.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your photography. Do you do photography as a sort of a hobby and an art form?
I do it more like a hobby. I really love it. And I love drawing and singing too. But this time I was just focusing on photography.
Okay. All right. Let's thank Raul for sharing his photography with us. Thank you very much. And let's welcome Hannah Heschke, everybody.
You are the purest kind of love. You reveal your heart, never leaving
Thank you, Hannah. Hannah, come up here with me real quick. We're going to let Jim come up and get set up. And while he's doing that, so Hilary said that she's been fairly new to the whole songwriting thing. Is this new for you as well?
Yeah, I've never actually written a song before
This is the first one?
Yeah, I co-wrote it with Ali Cranmer, yeah.
All right.
So-
Way to go. Well done, Ali. So tell me about the process. Yeah, isn't that great? Well done for the first time. Tell us about the process of doing it. Did you just have an inspiration, or you and Ali get together and say, let's write a song together?
Yes, and I really had it on my heart to sing about God's faithfulness because I had been just really going through a season where I'm like, oh man, there's just been some things I feel like I've been stuck in and things that I just haven't gotten over, haven't gotten through. But I just wanted to sit in the fact like, but I will because God is faithful and he comes through. So that's just really what I've been thinking about in this season.
So in co-writing it, was it both the music and the lyrics, or did one of you kind of do?
She helped me with the lyrics.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
So yeah, and do you feel like it was kind of the pouring out of your heart?
yeah, I would say that's the beauty of songwriting. I feel like you get a chance to do that, and just really creativity in general is you have the ability to show your heart and show some skills, hopefully, in the process. But yeah, just
Wonderful. Awesome. Let's thank Hannah for her song. Jim, come on up. And Jim's got 2 songs for us tonight. We got all settled in here. As we're getting set up here, please don't forget we've got food and coffee and drinks in the back. Don't be shy. Go ahead and help yourself as you are enjoying the evening tonight. Also, for those of you who have just come in, we've got a board right back here at the back with all these envelopes on it. And it's a take a blessing, leave a blessing board. You open up and look for, open up a flap and look for one that's got a card in it. You pull that out, and that's the blessing for you. And then right in front of it is a blank white card with some pens, and that is your opportunity then to write a blessing and put it in an empty envelope for the next person who comes along. So feel free to participate in that as we go through this evening. So anything we need to know about the 2 songs we're about to hear?
All right, the first one's called Let Me See With Your Eyes, and that one was written in 2010 in the spring. And I remember that because it was like right around spring cleanup days when everybody shoves all their junk out on the curb. And anyway, the Lord gave me an image in my mind of a young woman sitting on the curb with her arms around her knees and her head down, and it was like in black and white, real kind of depressing. But the idea was that as we go through life, as we walk through our lives, that we will encounter people, broken people. It's just everywhere, and we kind of need to ask ourselves: are we aware of that brokenness, and how does God want us to encounter that brokenness as well? And the second song, what's it called? Called Come to the Heart of Jesus, and that one was written in 2003. And that was kind of cool because I woke up like 2 or 3 in the morning, and the words were going through my head. I've never had, that's the only time that's ever happened before. And anyway, this one's kind of personal because I think it was one the Lord was given to me specifically, but I think other people will enjoy it as well.
Welcome, Jim DeJoode.
You worked hard for many years. He wears the marks of his trade. He has no hope but many tears from the choices that he made. His life becomes my mirror. My heart hears his cry for aid. Show him, Lord, that you are near. May your love become his way. Let me see with your eyes, let me hear with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see with your eyes, let me feel with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see the broken people, help me to see the broken people with your eyes. Abandoned on a beach with no home or hugs or hope, God's hand is in her reach. Her new family loves her so. Her life becomes a light that shines for all to see. From days of darkest night to love beyond degree. Let me see with your eyes, let me hear with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see with your eyes, let me hear with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see the broken people, let me see the broken people with your eyes. As I walk this road called life, along its twists and turns, will I see the broken lives? Am I blind with my concerns? Lord, let me see through Jesus' eyes, that my spirit may discern how to touch these broken lives, your love for them to learn. Let me see with your eyes, let me hear with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see with your eyes, let me hear with your ears, let me feel with your heart. Jesus, let me see the broken people, help me to see the broken people. Yes, I see the broken people with your eyes. Is the child in you frightened and lonely, never trusting, ever hurting within? In your need, cry out to Jesus. He will hear you and be your friend. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. Come and be healed of all pain. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. come be made whole again. Oh, come be made whole again. Is the burden of life so heavy you don't think you can carry on? Trapped behind bars of self-pity, despair without hope is your song. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. Come and be healed of all pain. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. Come be made whole again. Oh, come be made whole again. The Savior has carried your sorrows. He died on the cross for your gain. With his stripes, your healing was purchased. Come to him now and be changed. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. Come and be healed of all pain. Oh, come to the heart of Jesus. Come be made whole again. Oh, come be made whole again. Come be made whole again. Yes, come be made whole again.
Thank you, Jim, DeJoode. I'm going to ask Michelle DeBruin to come up. Those of you who go to the 8 o'clock service in the sanctuary know Michelle very well as the worship leader there. And I didn't know that she was a writer until last year. She invited me on Facebook to her page. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So she is our first spoken word artist of the evening, and she's going to share with us an excerpt from her book. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about it, and then just jump right in, if you will, Michelle.
Well, yes, as Tom said, I'm Michelle DeBruin, and I live here in Pella with my husband, Tom DeBruin. You probably know Tom. And I am an author of inspirational historical fiction. My first book came out last October, published with Mantle Rock Publishing out of Kentucky. My next book is coming out in November, so we're about a month away from that. Personal invitation to you as my third church family. I'm actually doing a book release party at the Pella Public Library on Monday, December 2, from 4 to 6, and I'd really love to see you there. We're going to have a great time and draw for prizes, and I'll be signing copies of my new book, and I'd really love to have you be a part of that. So what I'm going to be reading for you this evening is chapter 1 of this book 2, titled Promise for Tomorrow, and my writing is set in rural Iowa, small town, around the year 1910. Here we go. You know I'd do anything to help you. Pete's words rang with the brand of loyalty found in friendships that deepened over time and encouraged through the darkest of days. A grin spread across Logan DeWitt's mouth. But I can't, not this time. Sorry, buddy. What? Logan stifled a groan. Stuttering again. That irritating stutter had left him alone for months. He sure didn't want it returning now, not when his fiancée needed a place to stay, and fast. He barely survived these 3 days following his Christmas proposal. Gulping, he tried again. What do you mean? Much better. He drew in a slow breath. A smile burst onto Pete's face. Anna is expecting a baby, due in July. Wow, congratulations. Pete's news blew air into Logan and sucked it out of him all at the same time. His friend was going to be a father. How terrific for Pete and Anna. And yet, Logan still waited for his turn. It would come someday soon, now that Karen had agreed to marry him. We're making preparations for our extra room to get remodeled. Logan glanced through the shadowed doorway of the Silver Grove Parsonage's spare bedroom. A ladder filled one corner of the room. The bed and one chair will need to go back to Anna's mother so we can make space for a cradle. Pete's grin threatened to split his face. He turned serious as he refilled his cup with coffee. So why do you want Karen to move out of your house? He should have known Pete would ask. If he hadn't been so distracted caring for a sick cow this morning, he may have come up with a decent answer. Well, if he could just lose that ridiculous stutter once and for all. He cleared his throat. Boarding the teacher hasn't worked out quite like I thought. The statement might sound a little vague, but at least it was true. Boarding the teacher hadn't gone at all as he expected. Miss Karen Millerson lived at the DeWitt farm so his grieving sister could have a friend. But what happened instead? Tilly fought with Karen while Logan fell in love with her. The girls had since made up and were pretty good friends, but Logan's heart hadn't improved one bit. And now he had a mammoth problem on his hands. If he dared to groan, he would. But Pete watched him with a twinkle in his eye and a slight lift to the corners of his mouth. Logan's whole face heated. Oh, I see. Pete's amused voice said he saw way more than Logan wanted him to. Logan shifted in his chair. Look, you answered my question. Karen can't board with you for the second semester. That's what I came here to find out. I guess Mom and I must find another option. Logan stood and forced a grin. Thanks for the coffee. Tell Anna I said hello when she returns from her shopping. Pete nodded and opened his mouth to speak. Logan left the house before he got the chance. The comments were probably more of Pete's not-so-subtle hints at matchmaking. He'd been shameless in the attempt when Karen first came to town. Logan's consistent resistance mellowed him a bit until Pete quit voicing his thoughts. But they were still on his mind. Logan saw it in his eyes whenever Karen's name came up in conversation. He didn't need Pete's matchmaking attempts anyway. He'd done just fine all on his own, falling so hard for a young woman he couldn't regain his footing. Wouldn't Pete love to know? Logan glanced back at the parsonage. A trail of smoke lifted from the chimney. Anna's white curtains graced the windows. A Christmas wreath hung on the door. What a wonderful place to start a family. Maybe the Oswald City parsonage, quietly awaiting his return, would see a bedroom remade into a nursery. The pattering of little feet in the hall, childish laughter filling the rooms. His chest ached. He didn't dare spill the news of his engagement to Pete, not before he told his own family, and that couldn't happen until Karen moved out. Boy, was he in a mess. One of his own making. This was probably the rightful consequence for him proposing while Karen was still a member of his household. He should have thought that one through a little better, because here he was, Reverend Logan DeWitt, pastor of Oswald City Community Church and preacher for Meadow Creek Sunday afternoon services, trapped by his own attempt to live his life in faith. At the farm, the setting sun cast glowing rays of golden rose across the pure white snow. Logan banged metal pails around with more agitation than necessary as he did the evening milking. He usually hummed a tune, a hymn from the previous Sunday service as he worked, but no song of praise resonated in his heart tonight. The Apostle Paul knew what he was talking about when he wrote that there should not be any appearance of immorality among believers, not even a hint. But Logan's failure to remember the wise counsel would soon plunge the community school teacher, his sister, and his own dear mother into irreparable scandal. If he could just go back in time and try again, he'd make sure and catch on quicker to how much of a gift Karen had always been to him. Then he would have secured other living arrangements for her before he moved forward in giving her the courtship she deserved. But no, he'd messed it all up. Logan finished his work and headed for the house. The sight of the petite blonde wearing a floral apron and setting the table brought a wave of reality crashing over him. He must tell her about Pete's answer, how he hated to dash Karen's hopes. She devised the perfect plan of discreetly moving from the DeWitt farm to the Bettons' home one evening after supper during the Christmas break. Then school would resume. Logan was to call on her Sunday afternoons following the Meadow Creek church service. In a month or two, the engagement ring would abide on her finger. All would be smooth and joyful. Logan slumped as he sloshed water over his hands at the basin. This very moment, that engagement ring lay in the depths of one of Karen's dresser drawers where she'd stowed it the night Logan gave it to her, nowhere near attaining its respectable place on Karen's hand. Everything all right? Mama peered up at him. Logan shook himself back to the present. Yeah, sure. Mama patted his arm. Come to the table, dear. Supper is ready. He moved to take his chair, trying his best not to notice Karen's furrowed brow as she studied his face. Mama's question must have clued her in that, yes, there was something terribly wrong, and he had no way to fix it. He offered her one skittish glance and closed his eyes. Let's pray. Karen reached to hold his hand below the tablecloth's hem. This practice, developed over the past 3 days, brought him assurance of a beautiful future. Tonight, it only made his voice shake until he stuttered his way through the entire prayer. When he finally spoke, Amen, Karen didn't release his hand. Her concern warmed him, beginning in his fingers intertwined with hers. The warmth spread up his arm and across his chest. If Karen would just keep her grasp, he might find enough comfort to believe their world wasn't on the brink of falling apart. On previous evenings, he discovered he didn't need his right hand for polishing off a meal anyway, not unless the food on his plate required the use of his knife. The meatloaf Mama served tonight made the perfect one-handed kind of meal. Karen let go when she rose from the table to help Mama serve the dessert. He looked into her eyes as if to say, I need to talk to you. Karen gave him a faint nod. You were stuttering again. What's wrong? Karen faced Logan in the milk parlor. This was the first time since his proposal he'd spent any time alone with her. Karen's heart pounded. Something must be very wrong for Logan to bend his self-imposed rules and request a private chat. He raked shaky fingers through his hair and then grasped her shoulders. My talk with Pete didn't go as planned. A stinging sensation filled her stomach. She swallowed. Logan looked into her eyes. They don't have room for you to live with them. But they have 2 bedrooms. Logan nodded, a dim smile crossed his face. The empty room is in the process of getting remodeled. Pete and Anna are expecting a baby this summer. If Logan had thrown an entire bucket of ice water on her, Karen couldn't have been more shocked. You mean? Logan nodded again. A solemn expression claimed his features. You'll need to stay here. Oh, that isn't a good idea. Karen clutched her skirt. I can't live here, not with the way I feel about you. It's improper. Logan grasped the back of his neck. Well, I feel the same way, but I don't know what else to do. Well, maybe I can move in with one of the neighbors. No, that won't work. You ended up here with us because we're the only ones with any room. Karen scanned the shelves of shiny pails, the milk cans in the corner, and the pile of straw under the window. If only the simple surroundings could give her a clue. Hey, wait a minute. Who said you needed to be the one to leave? I'm the one to blame here. I should move out. Karen shook her head. But what about the chores and all of the milking? You can't leave the farm. No, not the farm, just the house. I don't understand. The barn, sweetheart. I could move out here. You'd live in the barn in January? Logan had mentioned to her the night he proposed that he was crazy in love with her. This new scheme actually proved that he was just crazy. A smile crept over his face, long and slow, like when he'd told her about his trip to the Oswald City jewelry store to purchase her ring. I've got it all worked out. I can move the stove out of here and go put it in the lean-to. Logan turned the wick up on the glowing lantern. Come here. He led the way into the adjacent barn and stopped before a little door near the ladder to the haymow. He tugged on the door and it scraped the rocky barn floor. Karen stepped into the tiny room. A cupboard of sorts filled one side. Starlight sparkled overhead. Logan. He must have caught the disappointment in her voice because he laid his hand on her shoulder. It'll be fine. I'll move a cot in from the attic, a few new shingles to the roof, and it'll be as cozy as a parlor reading by firelight. Well, nothing can be quite as cozy as that, but Logan did make a point. Will you do your studying out here? Logan looked around. There's no room for my desk. I'll try to get more of it done during the day while you're at school, and then I'll come out here after supper to stay. Karen slumped. She'd miss his company on those long winter evenings, reading books from his collection in the glow of the parlor fireplace. You'll freeze. Logan sucked in a breath. I'll make it work. Her eyes misted. Logan was a man well acquainted with sacrifice, and he made another one, this time for her. I'll bring you some extra blankets. Logan nodded. Karen, let's hold off on telling Mama and Tilly right now. Well, how are you going to do that? You know your mother will ask questions when you drag a cot out of the attic and quit sleeping in your room. Well, I know, but I want to wait for the right time to tell her and tell about our engagement. Like both of us, my mother is concerned about decorum. She's also still adjusting to life without Dad, and I don't want to cause her alarm with the news of any big changes, such as my getting married. Well, when do you plan to tell her? I don't know, but not yet. How do you plan to explain your move to the barn in the middle of winter? Logan pointed at an occupied stanchion. See that cow? She's been sick and in need of some extra attention. I'll tell Mama that I've moved to the barn to keep an eye on her. Karen peered at him. His story contained some serious holes, just like the roof overhead. Well, it's the truth. Logan's brow raised in challenge to defy him. Would you move to the barn anyway, even if you hadn't talked with Pete? Logan's mouth scrunched to one side of his face. Well, that's a fair question. Maybe not to sleep, but I'll probably end up putting in some late nights. Karen followed him from the lean-to. His yank on the door to close it rattled the barn wall enough to make the rickety lean-to roof creak. She could only imagine what other repairs were required for him to make the tiny apartment livable. And if you want to know the rest of the story, guess what? You can read the rest of the book. Anyway, thank you. This has been fun to share with you.
Thank you, Michelle. Gonna ask Jim Skrydlak to come on up and get ready. We're doing well this evening. Jim is going to be playing an instrumental piece for us on his guitar. He shared with me earlier this evening. He's been playing the guitar for over 50 years, right?
Yes, I was 2 when I started.
That's right. Good. Love it. Love it. I love it, and I love the chance that we have to hear this beautiful instrument played. Words are great, but sometimes music has something to say to us, and words only get in the way. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah, and we just heard lots of words.
Yeah, all right. So share with us, Jim, some of your music. Jim Skrydlak. Jim Skrydlak, everybody. Thank you, Jim. Hilary, come on up. Hilary VandeKieft was up singing a little bit earlier, and she also, I mentioned, had some of the things going on back behind the wall. You do crocheting, is correct, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So one of the things that's interesting for me is that we all kind of understand the language of music, and it moves us, and we feel all that and the expression. What does crocheting mean to you, and what are you expressing when you're doing it?
Sure. So it's just displaying a different level of beauty and making your own items and displaying them and wearing them and having fun with them. And while I'm crocheting, I'm praying, actually. So it's kind of like one of those automatic things that you do, and then your mind is just allowed to wander a little bit and meet with the Lord.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of the things that I've learned about creativity is it's oftentimes when we're doing the rote tasks that our spirit and our mind is free to create. So that's cool. Tell us what you've got here.
So as a mom, I didn't really do that much with crochet. I learned as a child, but I didn't do that much with it until I was a mom. I'm a mom of 5 boys who don't really like wearing crochet. So they have challenged me in creating other things and having to think through, well, how am I going to do that? So they have brought me to a new level of skill, even. Okay. That is really useful. Yeah.
Good. Is it something that you hope to pass on down to your children?
Maybe. They want to learn, but don't really like the process of it.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank Hilary for bringing us some of her artwork. Appreciate that very much. We are going to take just a couple-minute break, give you a chance to stretch your legs, use the restroom, whatever. Again, this is a coffee house atmosphere tonight, so we want you to feel free to roam. Be sure to check out some of the visual art over here. We're going to come back in 3 minutes and get started with our next section. Thanks. All right, let's bring it back in if we could. We've still got a lot of great opportunities with artists. Now we're going to have our first actual video presentation of the evening, and it's kind of exciting to have a couple of video artists with us this evening. Kelly Anderson, are you around somewhere? Is Kelly here? Yep, come on up, Kelly. Video is kind of an art form all its own, and we watch it all the time. We don't always think about actually doing it, though. So you've got a video for us called We Are Kickball. Tell us about that.
So We Are Kickball is a project that I worked on with Joshua Zapata-Palmer and Joshua Sosowski, and it just stemmed from both our childhood just experiences in the church, and also just kind of going forward. We started this a few years ago, and we just wanted to explore some fun things along with our experiences of knowing that in the church there is no them, there is just an all-encompassing us, and kind of exploring that theme.
Okay. So how long of a process was it from the moment you kind of conceived of it through the writing and the producing and everything?
Probably about 5 years for this one. Joshua Zapata-Palmer came up to me with the idea back when we were in college, and that was just like a thought, and then it just spiraled into more thoughts and more scenes that we imagined, and we completed the writing process maybe 2 years ago and filmed it last year.
Okay. Well, we're excited to see what you came up with. All right. Thank everybody. Let's thank Kelly for this. And here we go. We Are Kickball. Let's watch.
sever this very pursuit. It is this very pursuit that severs the two souls. One seeking to find his way through life, desperate, begging for mission, for purpose, and yet, by some horror, becomes completely immobilized by change. The other, completely unawares of his eternal longing for peace, for harmony, fights achingly for justice, and does not even...
Excuse me?
Shh! The disunity he has sown. This juxtaposition is no longer simply a path we must walk. It is a dark abyss we are thrust into. And therefore we must decide for ourselves. Which path will we choose?
We are kickball!
This is my body, which was broken for you. Let us partake together.
Now Moses is going to steal second. Mary's going to kick a miracle line drive straight through Jesus' hand. Got it?
Remember, modest is hottest.
Oh, sweet Jesus. No, he's fine.
It's 3
He's
outs.
fine.
It's
He's
3
fine.
outs, and
He's
I'm
fine. What do you mean?
I think he's out. I don't think he's
He's
out.
out.
Yeah,
We'll find him.
he's
We'll just
out.
use Skylar. We'll use Skylar.
She's just watching the game. Use Skylar? What do you mean?
Yes. Yes, she can be on our team now.
No, the team is established before the game begins. You can't just throw people on.
Throw people on?
No,
she's
you
been
can't do that.
waiting
That's
to play
against
the
the
whole
rules.
time. She doesn't want to be a scoreboard. She wants to be on a team.
No, you
yes.
can't.
Skylar,
We'll
just
no,
bring her in.
You can't do that.
Yes,
Who
we
wants to
can.
put in Skylar?
She's just waiting
No,
to
you
do
can't do that. That's against the rules.
She shouldn't be sitting
No,
there
you
the
heard it
whole
the same
time.
time. You can't do that.
She's
You can't do that. If you have it, you can't do
I got the
As we're letting the credits roll, I'm going to ask Chris Haug to step on up, if he would. Our next spoken word of the evening. Chris is a teacher up in Newton.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
All right. And you've been doing poetry for how long?
That's yes.
Got it right.
Yes, let's see, about 5-6 years.
Okay.
Something along that line.
Yeah, so poetry is one of those art forms that has waned in recent years in a lot of ways compared to what it was, decades ago or even a century ago. For those of us in the audience that are not poetry people, what would you like us to know as what should we be listening for?
Okay. Oh man, this is like teaching class, except there's a microphone. Okay, so poetry is about how we feel, and a poet has 3 basic tools. We can use sounds of words, so like repetitions or like rhyming. We can use images, so like objects that we want you to think about. And we have narrative, so like storytelling techniques. And that's it. That's all we get. Okay. So we hope that in using those 3 things that we make you feel something. And if you feel anything at all, then we've done our job.
All right. Get ready to feel, everybody. Let's welcome Chris Haug.
I'm always super nervous about this because I never work with a microphone and I don't know how to hold my thing with a microphone in the way. All right, so this is called Low Tide. When walking the cold surf of a rocky beach, it makes sense to pause now and again out of a well-founded concern for a stinging foot or an aching leg, and it's okay to consider turning back. But before that, before a warm fire or a dry sock, wait. Look at the water. Notice how like a mind it is, how it swirls into lost rivers and bends backward into itself. See how it flows in unanticipated paths around the backs of gnarled green-black boulders. Notice the lone fishhawk, how it soars above its unseen prey, how it hovers just beyond the breakers, how it pulls itself into and out of the water. Though the sea rises, keep still, and overcome the freezing foot, the freezing calf, the freezing thigh. Keep the arms outstretched and dare the wind. Keep still enough for long enough, and this bird may yet descend. Keep still and don't ask yourself what kind of sap dreams up such fevered notions. As long as the legs don't buckle and the bird keeps flying, keep still and forgo, for as long as you can, the hold of the warm shops, the lights of the town. All right, so this is number 2. This is refurbishing a door under a starry sky. It's late, and by now paint chips have made hundreds of cuts, taken tiny slivers of skin from the palms of your hands. It's a payment exacted for decades of neglect, due each time you brush the dust from your parents' old entry door. You begin to see the grain of the oak reemerge from under the infinite layers of paint and an equally infinite sky. You're reminded of the time your grandfather told you that wood this old reminds us that our lives were forged long ago when iron was drawn into our roots. You've never been too sure about that. But when you stop sanding, when you breathe deep and run your hand the length of the wood's grain, you want to believe. You want to believe each layer of years sanded from this door gets just a fraction of a moment to bask in 1,000-year-old sunlight from an impossibly distant star before it drifts down to the grass, waiting silently below. All right, and one more. This one's called At First Sight. One April morning, when I was 13, I stumbled out of middle-class sheets on a dare from my cousin, and in damp half-light, scurried down a wood plank dock, shirtless and agitated, anticipating the stunning chill of raw green water. I plunged through my own breath into a frigid murkiness that spoke in a silence that no one could explain. And some mornings, I still find myself awake well before the dictates of the logical or the punctual, banging my shins into the living room furniture, hoping to find the way that leads back to what faded from me the moment I emerged newly born from the numbness of that little lake, inhaling the blinding taste of sunlight as if for the first time. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris Haug. I'm going to welcome Jerod and Eliana up here. And I understand that this is Eliana's first performance in public. All right, wonderful. Come on up. Yes. Welcome. And we've got 2 songs tonight, is that right? Yeah. Okay, we'll get things set up for you here. All right. Oh, uh-oh. The sheet fell down in the crack. Yeah, you know the words? Okay. You're going to do great. Are you feeling a little nervous, Eliana?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. I'll feel nervous for you. All right. We ready to go? Welcome, Jerod and Eliana Garland. 2 songs.
Why
Nice job, Anna. Anna's going to join me for this one, too. This song is called Move Your Feet, and I had a friend who, about a year ago, had kind of a vision that Jesus was out on a boat, kind of in a lake, and he was on the shore. And Jesus was saying, come on, you got to come out here. Come out toward me. And the problem was, in between, was the water and the waves. And so the waves in the song represent maybe doubt, fear, maybe things in your past, maybe anything that keeps us from going out to where Jesus is calling us to be. So it's called Move Your Feet. I guess I can't complain about life here on the shore. Still I can't stop looking out where I've never been before. You're stirring something deep that I cannot ignore. It feels like I'm right here on the edge of something more. And if I should fall into the raging sea, will you still reach out before I can sink? Sometimes I swear I hear you whispering, the new wine is right here. Now just move your feet, just move your feet. Whoa, just move your feet. My doubt is haunting me, it's holding me in place. Though I know where I should be, it's the getting there that's not safe. I have learned that letdowns hurt, but courage is a choice. As the feuds within me rage, above it all your voice. If I should fall into the raging sea, will you still reach out before I can sink? And sometimes I swear I hear you whispering, oh, the new wine is right here. Now just move your feet, just move your feet. Whoa, just move your feet, just move your feet. Whoa, just move your feet. You call to me where you are, and I will not be afraid. I see it now, you're not that far. Now I'm running on the waves. No, I won't be stopped by waves. Not by waves. No, I won't be stopped. No, I won't be stopped by waves. It feels like I'm right here on the edge of something more. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerod and Eliana. Riley Holtrop. Is Riley here? There we go. Come on up, Riley. We have our second video presentation of the evening. And so Riley is the producer here of this trailer and short we're going to see. Riley, what should we know before we watch this?
Well, basically the video will give a lot of the context, but God gave me a vision earlier this summer to start this ministry called the Reborn Movement. And basically what it is utilizing social media to tell people stories of transformation and people that were in darkness and were led to the light by the Holy Spirit. And I really had no idea that he wanted to use my story first, but that's what you're about to see is my story, and then after that, it'll keep flowing with more and more people's stories. If you follow it on Instagram or Facebook, just the Reborn Movement, and we got like 2 people that I'm going to show this week, and then after that, just keep on flowing it out.
Awesome. Let's watch, everybody. Riley Holtrop.
And I just remember sitting there and just being like, I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up. And that was so hard to realize that it wasn't a dream. My college experience started out a little bit different than everybody else's. Drugs, alcohol quickly swept into my life, and right away at the beginning of college, I tried a little drug called LSD, and the day that I took it, everything was going so well, and I was tripping, I was fine, but then towards the end of the night, man, things just went dark, and I started going crazy. I started seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing, and I thought I went to bed. The next thing I know, I'm 20 miles down the road. I don't know how fast I was going, swerving through semis, and all of a sudden I go through a construction zone, and I remember just praying so loud. I have a close relationship with my mom, and I remember realizing later on that I was just trying to go home because she was the only person that I could really talk to. Everything's just hit me so hard, and so I just go right off the road. And I don't know if I'm trying to end my life or if I'm just trying to end driving, just trying to wake up. And I remember drove off the road, and I swear the bridge met the ground. My car went up top of there, and later on I found out I was 5 feet from decapitating myself. That was the biggest wake-up call. And I remember getting out of my car and wrestling around in the grass and over the ground, and then I ran through a hotel, and it was just a giant maze to me. I'm just going crazy, and later on I leave the hotel, and there's an officer there, and so I hand myself in, and we go to the sheriff's office, and we do all the tests and everything, and then finally, as I'm chained to the desk, I come out of the realization that I was even tripping. And I just remember sitting there and just being like, I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up. I just want to wake up. And that was so hard to realize that it wasn't a dream. As I got to the jail, I remember just calling my mom, just crying out to her and just being like, Mom, I screwed up. I'm not the perfect child that you thought I was. And I remember that was so tough. the next day, I got home, and my Bible, as it was open in the bed, and I don't remember how it got there or what happened, but I remember just reading it and being like, I love the Lord, for he heard my voice. He heard my cry for mercy. Because he turned his ear to me, I will call on him as long as I live. The cords of death entangled me. The anguish of the grave came over me. I was overcome by distress and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Lord, save me. And as I read on and on, I realized that God saved me, and that this was all part of his plan. But as college went on, I went back to my old ways, and I kept getting back into drugs and partying and drinking, and just, I prayed every night, but it didn't matter. And it wasn't until my senior year at college that God just really started changing my life, and I had to give up so much. And I started seeing signs and wonders and visions and dreams. And as I was giving everything up, I remember driving down the road one day and just crying out to God and being like, God, why have you chosen me? Why have you chosen me? Like, why is this happening? And then all of a sudden a vision just came into my head, and I just saw that I was supposed to start this ministry. And I saw Reborn, and I just saw my whole life flash before my eyes. And I remember seeing the light at the end of it. And I knew it was something that I had to do. And then reading Psalm 116 again, I realized in this verse that it talks about just that you become a servant to God. And so now I'm forever his, and wherever he leads me, I will go.
I'm going to invite Riley to come back up real quick. And Riley, where'd you go? There you go. Come on back up. And Alan and Laura can go ahead and get started getting sat. That'd be perfect. So tell us about the Reborn movement and what you hope God's plan for it is.
Kind of where he's been leading me with it is just, like Revelations 19:10, just and how there's so much power in your testimony. And I think kind of where the society is going nowadays, it's hard for people to even get inside to a church. And I also think there's so much destruction in social media that just people just, it can be so evil. Mm-hmm. And but this is bringing something really good to it. And I just think that God has really big plans for this. And so I'm just trying to be really obedient to where he's leading me with it. And even just every time I make something like that, it's like I don't say it's done until I feel like God blesses it.
And do you feel like God's blessing it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I think so too.
One thing is just, you're always going to have ups and downs in lives, but making all of this has been really easy. And because I realized that it's that's God doing that.
Awesome. Thanks, Riley. Appreciate it. Well done. Beautifully shot. Alan and Laura, co-written song.
Jara.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a J.
My
go by
sorry,
Laura,
Jan.
that's
My apologies. So a co-written piece.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by co-written pieces. So is it equal parts, or each bring something different to it, or what?
It just depends, I think. I mean, I've kind of had the gamut where I come maybe with a song title. Sometimes I come with a melody. Sometimes I come with lyrics. And
Yeah, this one started out, Jara had the kind of the melody and a couple of ideas, and then, we just worked.
And this was the first time we'd ever worked together. So.
Okay. Very good. I'm excited to hear it. So Alan and Jara, take it away.
All right.
choose in the darkness, your direction you lose in the mountain you're climbing as you caving in, 'cause you've hit rock bottom again and again. So lift up your hands, release all that was. Let the Father's wings cover you with His love. Our God is great. His love is endless, and His love is perfect. It never changes. His love is perfect. In our understanding, you are perfect and made. You make no mistakes. God is love. Don't give in to the enemy's lies binding you. You must find the strength. Step into His truth, 'cause He's marked the path He's placed you in. Just cling to the light, 'cause it always wins. It always wins. So lift up your hands, release all that was. Let the Father's wings cover you with His love. With His love. 'Cause His love is great. Yes, His love is endless, and His love is perfect. It never changes, and His love is better than our understanding. You are perfectly made. It makes no mistakes. God is love. 'Cause His love is great, and His love is endless, and His love is perfect. It never changes, and His love is better, better than our understanding. You are perfectly made. He makes no mistakes. God is love. You are perfectly made. He makes no mistakes. God is love. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alan and Jara. Sorry for getting the name wrong. My apologies. Bad. All right. We're going to keep things moving tonight. I am just amazed at the diversity of what we're experiencing tonight. Isn't it cool? Between the difference in the musical styles and genres and everything that's going on, as well as just the diversity of what God has expressed through everything here. I'm going to invite Jenny Hesseltine to come up. One of the things that the creativity team and the worship team here at Third has been really pushing into is that that creativity is a lot more than just a painting or a song. It's more than what we consider the usual arts. But creativity manifests itself in lots of different ways, even in hospitality. And Jenny Hesseltine is our pastor of our community and is part of the whole hospitality group that put together our food and things in the back. So tell us about, Jenny, what does it do for you when you are expressing and channeling hospitality?
Yeah, I think for me, so much of hospitality is just setting the table for whatever experience God has for us, usually in community, of course. That's part of the act of giving that. Sometimes it's a literal table like it is tonight with the charcuterie spread out and it looks really pretty and there's something visual about it. But there's a lot of times that it doesn't have to be that way. It's just a setting of the table for whatever encounter it is that the Lord has for us.
That's good. So as you express yourself in hospitality, I'm putting you on the spot here, but can you think of an example from your own experience where setting the table and hospitality led to God's presence in a specific way in that community around that table?
Yeah, I think it's almost always for me anyway, it's unexpected ways that God shows up and does something that I had no idea was going to happen. And that's usually despite my best efforts to be intentional and prayerful about what I'm creating or putting before, how I'm setting the table. It usually ends up being in some really unique way that God has spoken to someone that I haven't even necessarily planned for, if that makes sense. So some examples, I guess, would be just ways that people have felt loved and cared for, I think, through the ways that food is either displayed through a visual representation of it or through the thought and care that's put into the things that are chosen.
That's good. Thanks, Jenny, for all the work that she did tonight and being creative in a very tasty way. I enjoyed it very much. Jerod Garland's back up here. Jerod got another song for us?
Yep, one more.
Tell us about water.
Okay, this is comes from Isaiah 43:19. It says, "See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." And it comes off of that verse. The hard thing is sometimes if you're not finding the streams in the wasteland, and this is a song I asked about and not finding those streams, but at the same time knowing that God has never left. So it's called Water.
This is a song for all the broken, for all the ones with bloody knees. It feels like your prayers have all been stolen, or maybe they went flying in the breeze. And you asked me to see beyond this road that I've been stuck on. You promised this wasteland of mine has water, but it's so hard to find. It's so hard to find the lies that come like flaming arrows. Look around to find my trusty shield. Oh, but all these escapes, they're getting a bit too narrow. Too many battles here out on the field. And you ask me to see beyond this road that I've been stuck on. Promise this water, but it's so hard to find. Oh, it's so hard to find. But something tells me you are here in the night. Something tells me you will not leave my side. Something tells me you are here in the night. Something tells me you will not leave my side. No, something tells me you are here in the night. Something tells me you will not leave my side, leave my side. Something tells me you are here in the night. Something tells me you will not leave my side, leave my side. Something tells me you are here in the night, and something tells me there is water to find.
Thank you.
Jerod Garland, everybody. Thank you, Jerod. Let's hear it for the house band as well. Helping Jerod out tonight. Wonderful. We are going to keep rolling. We've just got a handful of acts left this evening. Jacob Cowman is next. We're going to ask Jacob to come on up and get set up. There he is. And he's got a couple of songs for us this evening. If you haven't, while Jacob's getting set, if you haven't yet, please feel free to just jump up and come over. And on both sides of the stand over here, we've got some amazing artwork, and as well as some textile things to look at. We'll be back with you in just a minute. Let's bring it back in. We've got a couple of songs by Jacob, The Glory of Our God, and We Will Worship You. Are these songs that you wrote yourself?
They are correct. That's correct, yep.
And how, I mean, are these fairly recent, or have you had them around for a while?
Yep. So the first one we're going to do is called We Worship You. That one I wrote shortly after Sam and I got married. And that kind of just came out of a place of, like, this is what God is, this is who he says he is, and just more of a proclamation of, we're going to worship you for who you are. The second song I actually wrote back in high school. So that's been 6, 7, 8 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's along the same lines.
All right. So you dusted it off.
Yep.
You're going to sing it for us tonight.
Yep.
All right. You guys ready? Here we go. Jacob Cowman.
You're the author of life, the Savior, the Christ. You pay the price for all of us.
everything I am, I'll worship you, God. Everything I say, I'll praise your great name. Everywhere I go, I'll be a light for you. We fall down and we cry out, and I will praise you with all of my heart. Your love, oh God, never fails, and I will bow down and seek your face. The glory of our God is great. And father to the fatherless, friend to the friendless, hope to the hopeless, shepherd to the lost. We put our trust in you, and we fall down and we cry out, and I will praise you with all of my heart. Your love, oh God, never fails, and I will bow down and seek your face. The glory of our God is great. And I will praise you with all of my heart. Your love, oh God, never fails, and I will bow down and seek your face. The glory of our God is great.
Thank you very much. Our next spoken word act is somebody that I know very well. And so I'm going to let Wendy come up. And you want to just use that mic right there? Wonderful. And Wendy, share with us a little bit about your spoken word.
Do you have the screen for me? So this piece is based on this work of art, which is actually a work of art that we have in our house. It was a gift from my husband a couple of years ago, and it was one that we actually saw at an art fair, and I spent a long time standing in front of it. That's usually a hint to him that it's speaking something to me, and he surprised me with it that year for my birthday. And the reason I wrote this poem is because I often stand or sit in front of this. In fact, when I got it, we weren't able to put it up because we were moving, and it sat like against a chair in the living room for a while, and I would just sit on the floor and stare at it for a while and just try to understand what it was that drew me and what I was seeing. So earlier this year, when I was just kind of doing some creative work, I just kind of did a little artist exercise of trying to think out what it was that was drawing me to this piece of art. So this art is called Fractured Lament, is the name of the piece, and that's also the name of my poem.
All right. Welcome, Wendy Vanderwell.
Does she weep for me, or am I the she weeping? Rachel mourning for her children. Little girl lost, clinging to a rock, ever broken. She or me, pouring out in posture, a depth rendered inarticulate, understood only by soul and spirit. Wings formed to lift and dance, now weighing down. Selah. Anchoring in this very place of heavy, so firmly connected, surrendering expectation, spent and empty. Into the silence, a voice speaks, new mercy, invitation to dance, lifting of wing and chin into joy, ever beautiful.
Thank you, Wendy. Mike and Ali Cranmer are going to come up and share a song with us. Did you write this together? No. All right. Okay. Very good. We'll let you guys get set here. Anything we should know about the song before you sing it?
The song... Just kidding. This song came from the Freedom Retreat that happened in August. No, not this one. Okay. Do you want me to use that one? Okay.
Amazing the difference a mic makes. Yep.
So this song came from the Freedom Retreat that happened in August, and Alan was leading worship, and he made this statement that freedom looks good on you. And I couldn't shake that statement. And so I kept thinking it over and over that freedom looks good on me, freedom looks good on me. And it was such a prophetic proclamation over all of us that that's where this came from.
All right. Mike and Ali Cranmer.
Freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. I'm gonna dance, gonna sing, 'cause freedom looks good on me. Come, you nations, come and see. Come, receive from the King of Kings. Come, see victory, chains are breaking free. Come, receive, 'cause freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. I'm gonna dance, gonna sing, 'cause freedom looks good on me. Come, see the harvest is here to receive. Come and be all you're created to be. Raise the looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. I'm gonna dance, gonna sing, 'cause freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. I'm gonna dance, gonna sing, 'cause freedom looks good on me. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free. Whom the sun sets free is free indeed. Whom the sun sets free is free. 'Cause freedom looks good on me. Freedom looks good on me. I'm gonna dance, gonna sing, 'cause freedom looks good on me.
Thank you, Mike and Ali. I'm going to ask Sharon Stewart to come up real quick. And I stole the picture off the display over here because I want to ask Sharon about it. One of the things that struck me as I was looking at the art this evening is that you seem to kind of create this in the moment. So tell us the story of this picture.
Okay. First of all, I think we're all creators, and we're seeing the end product, but we don't always think of the process behind it. And for me, everything is about the process. And I was in Santa Fe and enjoyed a particular artist's work because she took literally bits and pieces of everything, of materials and tissue paper. She crunched up paper, and then she created these beautiful pieces of art. So I took a lesson from her. So in an hour's time, I actually did 3 things. So you're right, in the moment. Yeah. And so it's just crumpled up papers underneath and then colors. And to me, these were the colors of the Southwest, which I love. And there's even some gold leaf paper. But I think more to me was the process of doing it. It doesn't matter. I usually don't frame things and have them displayed. It's usually for our house or our home. But that's kind of...
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing it with us. Let's thank Sharon for being inspired in the moment. All right, Brystal. Our final act of the night is Brystal Hopkins, and she's going to come up. And Dave is going to accompany. I just wanted, did you pay Josh to wear that hat tonight, Dave? Or, what's the deal? Or Jacob? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Anything we need to know, Brystal, about the song we're going to sing?
Okay. Hello. Am I good? This song came out of actually a 610 service. Mike was teaching on how often our feelings can maybe get in the way, and that we really need to remember the truth that is rooted in us in a lot of situations. And we had time to reflect, and actually the whole of the lyrics came within like 3 hours of that. And I am not finished with this song yet. So you're hearing, I think, something that's in progress. But something I do want to say is that I'm really proud of us tonight. Like, I'm proud of the people who came up here and showed you something or hung something up, but I'm also really proud of those of you who didn't and still came, because I think it's really important. Like Sharon just said, the process is really important, and this part of the process can be really hard. And while songwriting is not something easy, it's something that takes a lot of work, sharing our art, no matter what it is often the hardest part. So that's true for me with this. And I think it's probably true for a lot of people. So I just really want to thank everybody who came and supported the creativity that comes in our body. And it's just really important, I think. And thank you to Mike and Alan and Nick and the whole team, because like there's just, and Hannah, intern Hannah, it takes a ton of work to put this on. And so,
yeah, let's thank everybody who was part of the committee. Let's do that. Thank you, all of you.
I'm really thankful to be a part of a body that appreciates this. So
let's hear your work in progress.
Okay, work in progress.
Wandered and waited on dreams and questions unanswered. Circles I'm running never lead anywhere but here. I'm tired and I'm weary from the wander. I'm trying to find you through fogs of my doubt and fear. I feel lost, but the truth is you found me. I feel alone, but the truth is you're near. I'm unsure of where I am heading, but no matter where I turn, I know you're here. I've seen you move mountains, but this one seems stuck by the sea. No joy on the journey, but I'm caught in uncertainty. There's always been light for my footsteps. Now I'm tripping and grasping, desperate for you to save me. I feel lost, but the truth is you found me. I feel alone, but the truth is you're near. I'm unsure of where I am heading, but no matter where I turn, I know you're here. 'Cause I feel lost, but the truth is you found me. I feel alone, but the truth is you're near. I'm unsure of where I am heading, but no matter where I turn, I know you're here.
Well, yeah, Brystal really said it well. I don't need to add much to that. Thank you so much for coming out. We really are longing for this to be a culture where we really see ourselves as creatives. Like one of our worship values for our worship ministry is that we're created to be creative. And we believe that not only to be the fine arts, which we've celebrated tonight, but actually we believe that we should be empowered by the Holy Spirit to be the most creative people in the world. Whether it's in education, in business, in politics, you name it, we should be the most creative people in the world. And so we long for this to keep growing. And so I would encourage you to see yourself as a creative, because you are created in the image of God, who is creative. Amen. Amen. So a few people to thank, because as Brystal said, there's a lot that goes into this, and I made sure to actually write them down, so hopefully I don't forget anybody. Can we thank Tom Vanderwell, who has done this before? He has a high passion, him and his wife, for the creative arts, and he does this so well. And so thank you, Tom. Up in the booth, Sarah Andino has been helping us with lights. My lovely wife, Tracy, has been helping on CG. And then back on cameras, we have Aaron Corbin. Kevin Frangi is up directing and been on camera. Hannah Heschke is on a camera. Alan. Nick Rosendahl and Jacob put a ton of time in getting the sound ready. So well done, guys. Jenny Hesseltine took care of all of our food, and I believe her husband, Brad, helped her out, even though he may not have liked to. Some other people were helping with setup. Sarah Tipman and Lori Heschke, Kayla DeWeird helped make a bunch of this happen. And then I already mentioned them, but I work with some really great staff in Nick Rosendahl and Alan Feidenhauer, and our intern staff, Hannah Heschke. They put in a ton of time and hours, and it's a fun team to be a part of. So thank you, guys. So as we go from this place, let me pray for us and bless us. Lord, we thank you for a great night, and we give you the glory, we give you the honor. And I'm proud, I'm grateful, and I know, Lord, you are smiling down from heaven as you have seen your children, your sons and daughters, just use their gifts and their talents in really incredible ways this evening. So I ask that as we go from this place, we would go with your love, we would know your power, we would know your presence, and that we would see ourselves as creatives in every sphere of life. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank you guys for coming out. Blessings.